Hello, Elizabeth Ide. I am back again and I am ready to read another side of a fairy tale. So that's part of our other sides of the fairy tale, told in different versions by different characters within the story instead of the narrator, who is the person who is writing the book. So today we are going to be reading a story based off of the original Frog Prince. If you have never read that before, I want you to either stop the video and go on YouTube, or maybe you have it at your house, and listen to that story before you listen to this, or you can listen to this one and then listen to the Frog Prince. This story is called Frankly, I Never Wanted to Kiss Anybody. And this is told by the actual frog in the story, okay? This frog right here. The original story, though, is written by Nancy Loewen. On the back of the page, a book is a little summary, and it always tells us what we're going to be reading about. So this story says, of course you think I need a kiss from a beautiful princess to end my totally awful curse. You don't know the other side of the story. Well, let me tell you. All right, so we are going to read this book today, okay? And this is told by the frog. And we're going to find out how he was turned into a frog and what truly happened. You have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. I bet you've heard that one before, and I bet you're totally thinking, ew, kissing a frog would be gross. Well, I just happen to be the former frog who inspired that saying. My name is Prince Puckett, and let me tell you, that kiss was no picnic for me either. Here's the real story. So this is Prince Puckett, and we're going to find out how he was turned into a frog. I was playing baseball the day Hank's mom turned me into a frog. One moment I was about to catch Hank's pop fly, which would give my team the championship. And the next moment I was flopping around on the ground with more legs than I knew what to do with. Sorry, kid, Hank's mom called as she was led out of the ballpark. To break the spell, just get a princess to kiss you. But she can't know you're a prince. So this is what he turned into, was this frog right here. And this is Hank's mom, who was giving the prince a curse. And that's him trying to catch the pop fly. But suddenly he was turned into a frog instead, and that stopped him from catching it. Well, whether I was a prince or a frog, I wasn't about to kiss any girl. And I soon found that being a frog had its perks. That means that it had some good things to it. I could see almost all the way around my head. I could swim and dive like nobody's business. And boy, could I jump. I jumped and jumped and jumped all the way to a new home near a well under an old linden tree. I wonder if the prince's parents are going to wonder where he is. Is anybody going to be missing him while he's a frog? That's my I wonder question. One day I was playing kick the mushroom with my frog buddies when I heard the unmistakable sound of a ball smacking into a glove. What do you predict he is thinking of when he's hearing a ball smacking into a glove? What was he playing just a couple pages ago when he was turned into a frog? That's the princess, Mickey told me. She's always coming out here to practice. I listened to the smack, 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 and I wish that I could be just a regular baseball playing prince again. So what do you think this princess is doing while she's out there playing? She's playing with the ball. And do you think she's playing baseball? Do you think she's playing soccer? What do you think she's playing? Then it happened. Smack, spat, plunk! The ball landed in the well. That was my lucky ball, the princess cried. The gang gathered around me. If you offer to get the ball, she'll offer to pay you back somehow, Willie said. Then you can ask for that kiss. Go on, Harmon prodded. Think of your teammates back home. So obviously, the frog, which was Prince Puckett, told these other frogs that he needed to get a kiss in order to be turned back into the real prince. I worked up my courage and jumped beside her. Would you like to get your ball? Would you like me to get your ball? I asked. You? She asked. Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to try. I hopped into the well and kicked the ball out. She doesn't look very happy with that frog. I wonder why. Maybe she's been asked before to kiss a frog. How can I ever repay you? The princess asked. Just ask and it's yours. You can? I mean, I'd like a... I stammered. Finally, I blurted out. A kiss! I want you to kiss me! Blah, the princess said. We stared at each other. She leaned toward me. I leaned toward her. Nope, can't do it, she said. She took her ball and ran away. Look at that face. She does not want to kiss that frog. I wouldn't either. Well, that made me a little mad. A deal's a deal, right? It took me a while, but jump by jump, I followed her back to her castle. The princess wouldn't open the door, but I stood there, croaking loudly until her father, the king himself, let me in. I told him about our agreement. My daughter must keep her word, the king assured me in a booming voice. So the princess didn't want to keep her word, but the king said a word is a word and it's an agreement and you have to do it. Then he plopped me down on the dinner table right next to her. What do you think's going to happen next? The princess looked the other way. I'll kiss you after we eat, she said. Promise. Do you think she's actually going to do it? Do you think she's actually going to kiss him after they get done eating? I don't know. She's already broken one promise. But as soon as she swallowed her last bite of lemon tart, she dashed up the stairs. I hopped right after her. I'll kiss you right before I go to sleep, she said. But as she pulled the covers over her head, and she quickly began to fake snore. I spotted her lucky ball in the corner. Well, I guess I'll be going now, I said. Since you won't kiss me, I'll just be taking this. How do you think it made that princess feel when he decided to take her lucky ball? And it is a baseball just like he liked to play. Is she going to chase after him? Is she going to still kiss him? What's going to happen in the story? What do you predict? Oh, I see something. The princess flung off the covers. No, wait! I'll do it! She picked me up and held me to her face. She closed her eyes. I closed my eyes. Then her lips touched mine. Ah! We both shrieked. I felt myself being hurled into the air, and suddenly I was stumbling around with 2 legs and 2 arms that I didn't know what to do with. You're a prince? She said. What an arm, I said. So he turned back into a prince. Do you think that she's going to all of a sudden like him because he's a real prince? Maybe they'll be the best of friends. Did we fall in love, get married, and live happily ever after? No way! But my team got a great new starting pitcher because she had a great arm. So they didn't get married or anything, but he got a teammate. So remember, in these other side of the storybooks, they always have something at the end that is critical thinking. They want you to always make a connection between the original story and the new story that was read to you. So I'm going to read those, and I really want you to think about, if you haven't ever heard of the Frog Prince, how you can make a connection between this story and the original Frog Prince story. If you have not read it, I want you to look it up on YouTube, or maybe you can find a copy of it at your house, and I want you to compare and contrast. So tell how things are different, which is contrast, and things are the same, which is comparing. If the princess told the story instead of the Frog Prince, how would her point of view differ? So how would it be different? What details might she tell differently? Describe what happens in the story. Consider these questions. How does the prince get turned into a frog? And what does he like about being a frog? So think back to the beginning of the story when he was turned into a frog. How did he get turned into a frog, and what did he like? What steps does he take to do so, of turning back into a prince? What does he have to do? What is the role of the princess's father as a character in the story? What does he make the princess do? How does he help the prince? And then, like I said, if you haven't ever heard of the story, I want you to look online to find the original story and describe how the ending of this version of the story differs. So how is it different? How is the ending? They're teammates in this story. What was the original story like? Why might the author have chosen to change it? So why did the author decide to write this story from the frog's point of view? Did they want the frog or the prince to get his viewpoint across and what happened to him? Think about that. Hope you enjoyed.